Hello, wonderful people. How are you all? I hope that you are doing great. In today's episode, I am going through one of my most favorite books and recent books that I have read, and it is named as The Midnight Library. This book is written by Matt Haig, and if you have already seen the first episode of this series, you know that I really don't like to review the books. Rather, I like because I'm not a professional reader and not a student of literature. So, rather, what I like to do in my episode is to go through all of the favorite lines of the book and to evoke my own thought process and to go through my thought process that I had while reading this any particular book. So let's get started. So in very first lines of this book, the lines are, I can never be all the people I want and live all the lives I want. I can never train myself in all the skills I want. And why do I want? I want to live and feel all the shades, tones and variations of mental and physical experience possible in my life. So I really like these lines, and these particular lines are written by Sylvia Plath. These are the opening lines of the book. And what I really like about these lines is that it doesn't talk about if we talk about in today's life how a life has to be lived. Many people talk about all the places that they want to travel, all the food that they want to eat, but this person is talking about I want to live and feel all the shades, tones and variations of mental and physical experience possible in my life. So it doesn't talk about things that are external, such as travel and food and many things to do, but it talks about many things to feel. And it doesn't only talk about feeling the happiness, because the motive of many people is to feel more happy and to have more satisfaction, to achieve many goals, but this person is talking about feeling all the shades, even that all the shades include the saddest part of the life, angry, sad, even all the negative, with all negative, positive, all the shades, feeling all the shades of the life. And also this person is talking about I can never be all the people, because life is so limited, though in storylines and in advertising it is said to be unlimited. Well, life is very small actually, and we cannot feel all the things, we cannot be all the things, and we cannot be each and every kind of, there are so many occupations in this world, so many type of livings in this world, and we cannot never be all the things at one time. So so instead I cannot be all the people I want and live all the lives I want with all the occupations, all the different places of different lifestyles, because in every mile, in not only in every country but in at every mile, every distance, the culture changes, and the culture that affects the lifestyle mostly, that also changes. And so it is not possible to be all the people at one time. So instead it talks about to have all the feelings, all the experiences possible of in the life. So I really like this. So I am not going to give away all the book by telling all the plot. I'm just going through the lines which will not impact your reading. So I will not go to all the part which is so extensive in the book. I will just go through all the part which is over the book. Means even if I tell you these things, you will it will not affect much your own experience of reading the book. So, between life and death, there is a library, she said. And within that library, the shelves go on forever. Every book provides a chance to try another life you could have lived, to see how things would be if you had made different other choices. Would you have done anything different if you had the chance to undo your regrets? So, it compares every book on the shelf with the every possibility of life. So at every moment we have to make some or other choices, because I'm just going through this book. I have so many choices in front of me. I can just get up and close this video and do nothing and sleep. I can continue with this video. I can in between do something else in this video, and or start a different video in between, and many things I can do. So each and every choice is going to impact the future, and it provides 100 possibilities each moment in life, and the choice we take opens up that possibility. So it talks about if at every moment we are going to affect the life, that outcomes of different outcomes that are going to come. So every possibility brings more possibilities, and that possibility brings more possibilities, and so on. And so yeah, right. I am just feeling a little bit pain in my throat. That's why I took a little pause. Maybe I should drink a little bit water. Just give me 1 minute. Yeah, possibilities. Yes. So, possibilities are also quite unpredictable, because we cannot say that because we take this possibility, our life is going to go in this way. It doesn't work in that way always, because we can predict it in some general amount with our experience over the time that we have developed as humans. But it is not quite possible to exactly 100% say that this choice that I make will bring this outcome. It can also happen exactly opposite of that thing, that also. So choices are so unpredictable. The relationship between the choices and the outcomes is quite unpredictable. Then one more of the favorite lines. But she had been feeling lonely, and though she had studied enough existential philosophy to believe loneliness was a fundamental part of being a human in a essentially meaningless universe, it was good to see him. So this talks about a bit of a loneliness, and loneliness is such a complex thing, and it also talks about that even though in existential philosophy, to believe that loneliness was a fundamental part of being a human. So one of this sentence I really like, that the loneliness was a fundamental, once again the word is so important, the fundamental part of being a human in a essentially meaningless universe. So it talks about the universe as a meaningless universe, and of which loneliness is a fundamental part of being a human. It is so complex to understand, but I think these words cannot be understood, but these can be felt. And when I'm just even going through the words, it brings kind of a goosebumps, really, that Loneliness was a fundamental part of being a human in a essentially meaningless universe. Wow, really nice. So, going further, I really like this also. She realized that's what she was, a black hole, a dying star collapsing in on itself. So she's comparing her sad and very messy state of mind and very depressed state of mind to a black hole. And if you know a little bit of astronomy, then stars when they die, stars in the sky, when they die, some of the stars based upon density of the star, so density and the volume of the star, I guess that's as per I remember. You have to search on Google maybe. So based upon that, when the star becomes old star, very old star, and it starts dying, at that time some of the stars, maybe based upon density, I don't remember exactly, so when they are dying, their own energy is not able to withstand their current state and they collapse in themselves. So just kind of attracts everything to themselves and they turn into a black hole. So if you again know what the black hole is mostly that middle part of middle part of galaxy, which has a very strong gravitational force, and everything is collapsing. So oh my god, that is such a romantic statement, I guess, that she was a black hole. To compare a human being to a black hole is wow. Then okay, so that is one of my favorite. Then okay, yeah, so I didn't mention this from start, but I should say it right now. I'll grab this opportunity and say it right now before I forget to tell that this book is a very beautiful book, and in my own experience, everyone should read this book. It holds so much power, and I read this book when I was little bit sad, and this book talks about the life philosophy of living. And because this book is a fiction with a very strong storyline and plot line and very strong characters, amazing characters built up while the story goes on, that is why it makes that philosophy really easy to understand in the practical terms, because it is often very difficult to compare the philosophy in a living life. It is such a paradox maybe, because philosophy, the word philosophy means a love for wisdom, and wisdom is in daily life obviously, but philosophy is often theoretical when stated. So it doesn't go in too much theoretical terms, but it binds it with the human experiences with the storyline. That is why I think everyone should read this book to understand the philosophy of life, and that is a wonderful thing to understand. So so yeah, and one more thing, that if any person is feeling depressed and sad and quite in a very sad state, this book is a go-to book. Means this book they have to read. If you know someone if you know someone who is really sad right now, you should maybe give them the book. First you should read the book obviously, and then give them the book, because no matter if we are sad or happy, this book is the must. But if we are sad, this book is even must. Yeah. So yes. Okay. I'm not going through every notes of mine because I don't want to too much give you the story, because maybe you will read it and so that's. So this book again talks about again and again about don't underestimate the big importance of small things. And because this book talks about rotates about the same concept over and over again about going through a different books and living a different lives by making a different choice. That's why it again keeps on saying that don't underestimate the importance of small things. So small things are really important. They can, even the smallest thing, smallest decision can impact the outcome of the life. So okay, so here are some more of my favorite lines throughout the book. And pardon me if I'm going to spell some of the words incorrectly. If one advances confidently, Thoreau had written in Walden, in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common earth. He had observed that part of this success was the product of being alone. I never found the companion that was so companionable as solitude. So I really like these lines a lot, because what he says to be observed that is that the success, that part of the success was the product of being alone. And I could really correlate with that statement, that many of the times the many ideas, even though there is said to be a thing like teamwork and etc., teamwork, collaboration, etc., after all, even in the teamwork, there are people who are individually connected to all the team. So in every team also, even though team is a collection of people and a team is a collection, and so no one is alone, even being in a team, there is some part of ourselves that is alone. And this success was a product of being alone. And to realize that aloneness and that alone thing, many a times can am I able to say this, convey this thing? Okay, let's see. I think I'm not able to convey these things to you because maybe the thing is not clear to me myself. I'm trying to understand once again what I'm thinking. Alone, even at the times of being in a part of a group, we are still alone, and some of the part of our success is in that loneliness. So it happens with me also most of the times. I cannot correlate with the people who like to live in a group most of the times. I'm a person who likes to be alone or with a company of very few. So most of the ideas comes to me when I am having that lonely time. So that alone time, when I'm doing something alone on my own, at that times most of the brilliant ideas and most of the creative work and or the word work gets done with me when I'm alone. So yeah, so that is what he is trying to say. I think that why still we are so afraid of being alone. That's all. And the words are really actually beautiful. I never found the companion that was so companionable as a solitude. So solitude even is compared as a person and something existence. There is also existence to the solitude, and if we assume that solitude also has an existence, then maybe we are with the solitude. So how can we be alone? Such a paradox. Wow. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, so I'm just maybe I'm going through one more of the thing that okay, no, I think there are not one thing. I have so many things in this written for this particular novel, because this is one of the best novels I have read, and not the best, it's I cannot say any novel is the best, but one of the best novel that I have read. So okay, there are few things about this loneliness, because loneliness most of the times make people feel people depressed, make feel it doesn't make feel, but can be correlated maybe to sadness, too much of loneliness maybe. So okay, going further to my more favorite lines. So this is a big paragraph. There are patterns to life, rhythms. It is so easy, while trapped in just one life, to imagine that times of sadness or tragedy or failure or fear are a result of that particular existence. That is a byproduct of living a certain way rather than simply living. I mean, it would have made things a lot easier if we understood there was no way of living that can immunize you against sadness. You can't have one without the other. Of course, they come in different degrees and quantities, but there is no life where you can be in a state of sheer happiness forever. And imagining there is just breeds more unhappiness in the life you're in. So, yeah, such a beautiful paragraph. Okay, to really go through it word by word, some of the words is that there is actually realizing one thing, that there can be so many of lives based upon the choices that we have made, decisions we have taken. There can be a different so many different lives, versions of our lives. But the thing to understand is that there can never be only happiness in one life, because where there comes a happiness, it cannot live without sadness. So there is no way in any of the life that we can be immunized against the sadness. There is no such vaccine that will immunize us against the sadness. And if we are going to feel happiness, there will be some unhappiness also in life. So in every version of life, there is no other version of life which has no sadness. Every version of life has sadness. That's what I guess it is trying to say. And to think, even to think that my life would have been better if I have had done this. My life would have been more happier if I would have had done this. My life would have been like this if I have done this. So we can change a little bit outcome, but the thing that the statement is that my life would have been more happier if I would have done this, it's not such a true, because there is no such thing as because every life has some of the sadness and happiness. So we cannot say that statement, and just to even to think about that statement makes while I'm thinking about that statement, that if I would have had done this decision, my life would be happy, only happy life. To think that makes our own life even more unhappy, even by thinking about that false statement. So yeah, so why to think in that way? Then maybe that's what the author is trying to say. So there are even more. Oh wow! This is one of the really beautiful lines. Compassion is the basis of morality. The philosopher Arthur Spawn. Okay, Arthur had a spawn hammer. I'm not able to spell this word. Okay, I will write it down over here. So had written in one of his softer movements. Maybe it was the basis of life too. So compassion is the basis of morality, and isn't it so true? And to keep it in such a small statement and to encompass it in such a small statement, compassion is the basis of morality. So morality means what is right and what is wrong, and to decide what is right and what is wrong, the basis of that is the compassion for living beings. So compassion is the basis of morality. Good statement, beautiful statement to make. Then there are few lines there are which talks about the loneliness, etc. So I'm not going to go through everything of that, but yeah, okay. I think I just noted something here, but yeah, okay. He believed that the more people were connected on social media, the lonelier society became. And then he had told her about a man called Roger Dunbar at Oxford University who had discovered that human beings were wired to know only 150 people, as that was the average size of the hunter-gatherer communities. So, what it is trying to say is that human beings, by evolution, are wired to have communication with 150 people at a time, and in social media at one time we are connected to so many people. So our brain is not wired to do that, and that makes us even more lonely. So yeah, social media, so to restrict usage of too much social media, not to feel lonely. Be lonely is fine, but feel lonely is a little bit sad. Then okay, so I'm not going to go through even more of the readings. There are so many lines I have noted, so I'm just going to jump to some of the statements that I wrote after reading the book. One of the most beautifully written philosophy novel. It is a melody of story and philosophy. Philosophy on its own is dry without much understanding. When a story comes, it becomes relatable. It becomes comprehensive. It is also a book to pick up when we feel depressed. We need it. We get the knowledge and understanding of life passed through generations of study. Philosophy is to make our life better. It is to make this universe a better place, and hence to try to understand it, to try to communicate it is a great act in itself. Hence, this book is a delicate dance, a symphony of notes, a melody of taste, a wonderful piece of creation that needs to be cherished. What I didn't like about the book, again, just one thing I didn't like about the book, that the novel was a little bit straightforward in the end, that I didn't like. Okay, so my camera has stopped working. Not working means stopped recording. Camera has stopped recording because it got overheated. So I'm going to end this book kind of a review, not exactly a review over here. and I hope that you like to listen to me. And if you are hearing me still now, I feel so much thankful. Bye bye, take care, stay safe.